So today I'll be talking about how to scale up your SEO organization so that you bring the support to the product teams and the content teams the best possible way. And in order to show you that, I'll be walking you through about how we created the organization in my company. And so I'm going to give you a little bit of information about the company first, and then the organization I created in there, and then how we pitched a specific project to C-level, and then it resonated, and we finally deployed it, and what the results we got. So it will be quite practical, and in order to create this buy-in, we partnered up with Oncrawl, and I'm going to also walk you through what kind of data sets we focused on and how we benefit from that. So let's dive right in. All right, I work at Brainy, and this is a company that was founded in 2009 in Poland, and it's the world's largest online learning community for students, parents, and teachers. So Brainy has more than 350 million monthly unique users from more than 35 countries, and we operate 11 domains and apps. And we got three different products. The first product is the social question and answer product. Second one is the textbook solutions that is like in alpha stage now. And we also have tutoring product, and the more is coming up. So in how do we operate? Like, what's the business like? How does it work? So globally, there is 1.2 billion students that need help in learning, and they have questions to ask, and they seek to get step-by-step explanations from other students to go from frustration to understanding. And Brainy provides an extensive knowledge base of a lot of explanations for these most frequently asked questions. It's a platform that elaborates the collaborative learning. So it's a platform for community, and that's generally what's the unique value proposition and the how the business work. So after learning the business work, let's look at the business model itself. So the business model is mainly an ad-supported freemium monetization. So basically that means we have subscription model, but we also ad-supported. We have these paywalls, and we provide the free products to users, to students, and if they engage more and more, they go to the freemium, from freemium to the subscription. At the same time, we've been developing a marketplace ecosystem for the other edtech companies as well, which is providing also enhanced learning capabilities. For example, like test preparation and so on. All right, let's look at why SEO is important for Brainy. So it's because it's the biggest traffic source. It is totally reliant on the organic search. And that's mainly because the users, the students are trying to find answer for these questions. They're trying to learn, go from frustration to understanding online. And maintaining our high visibility with the quality on the search engine result pages is extremely significant for the business, because it's the main traffic source of like user acquisition. So that's why adapting into the shifts in search ecosystem, it doesn't only enable us to be more competitive with our SEO strategy, but also it is needed that we need to use SEO as a tool. That's why I put it there, SAAT. So we need to use SEO as a tool to empower our product teams, content teams, marketing teams, and so on. So they are using SEO to reach their goals, and we are empowering them. That will be one of the core ideas in my presentation. This is just a brief introduction to that point, while I'm still giving you the background information. So basically, our customer acquisition cost is $0, and that's why a global SEO strategy is super vital for the company. And uh, and let's look at the team structure a little bit. So the team structure is this topic is super exciting for me to talk into because there is no SEO silo in the company, even though it's the biggest traffic acquisition channel. Maybe it's also just it's because that it's what's happening. So we'll see that. Um, it's definitely like SEO is definitely not a responsibility assigned to one dedicated team, thus one dedicated leader. But what we did in the company is that we made every team embrace SEO as an instrument, as a tool towards reaching their goals. So they are using SEO to reach their goals, and we are there to make this happen. So there is no one owner of SEO. That's why there is no one owner of the main growth. Um, the follow-up question that makes so much sense is then how do we lead this ununified SEO efforts? Because SEO is not at the end just some words, some strategy, and some mission statements, but it's rather the execution. So that's why we are doing it this way. So we have the SEO Center of Excellence team to govern the company-wide SEO strategy. So there's a global SEO strategy that is being kept updated by the Center of Excellence team. And the Center of Excellence team is not only keeping the SEO strategy up to date, but they are mainly empowering the product, content, marketing, community teams with strategic corporations. So what that means is like we have multiple SEOs in those multiple teams that I just described, and they get to design their tactical or operational set together with Center of Excellence team to make sure that they are using the best practices and that they are aligned with the global SEO strategy. And when it comes to the word empower that I use a few times, it is basically they like if a team comes to the Center of Excellence team, if a team comes to us and asks, like, oh, we want to do this and that, and we would like to use that. Can you help us? Sometimes the definition of the business is so blurry. It's so like not. It's so ambiguous that we first help them to actually create an actionable plan out of this messy business idea. So, and then we also help them assess if they need dedicated person or dedicated team to be hired or to be freelanced. So we gave them all the different support from the high strategy level. And we also try to lead by example, not only lead with influence, but also like sometimes give them the exact analysis what they need to. Like, let's say, hey, what's the, there's this feature snippet thing. How can we get it? Should we get it? Like that easy question could be months work to answer. Um, as we talked about the examples a little bit, like I'm still giving you the background information, but at the same time, also telling you how we scale this up. Because Brainy has like around 250 employees, and it has been growing super fast in the last few years. So we had to catch up with this growth of the company itself, but not only the user base and the knowledge base the enormous knowledge base it has. So in order to do that, we needed to create a new way, a new set of organization inside the organization to make sure that SEO is being used in the highest quality. And that means like do we have dedicated SEO resources? It's yes and no. So we have them, but we also don't have them. So I'll give you the idea how it works in the organization that we created. There's three different SEO resources being organized in the company. The first one is the Center of Excellence team that I mentioned. So this team is providing the SEO health analysis frameworks, which means that defines the main KPIs, that defines like the guardrails and also the growth metrics that that are important. Then this team also provides the growth marketing playbooks for content creation, the moderation, backlink quality check, and monitoring guidelines, and also like strategies to adapt into new search appearance changes or industry shifts. So an example could be like QA one box or that helps interpret the competition inside the industry. And then uh, we have the SEO systems, SEO infra, and the systems team that owns the SEO data because it's massive data. This team creates tools and also makes sure that the data is intact and meaningful. Then each team, whoever needs to do that, have their own SEO analysts and managers based on their needs. Let's say they want to build strong backlinks or they want to scale up their content optimization, then they have their SEO analyst helping them. And those teams are not like centralized, but they are spread into multiple product and marketing organizations. So at the end of the day, the SEO systems team build automated data analysis and enables all the other SEOs to reach reliable insights, and they get to be supported by Center of Excellence with all the strategies and meaningful cooperations in tactical level as well. So I think now I gave all the background information about the company, the structure, and I also gave you how we scale up, what kind of organization we built there. So now I'd like to give you this case study that we have worked very hard together with Oncrawl as our like data partner that empowered our data team to discover meaningful insights, so that I can actually tell you how you can get the buy-in from the C-level about your SEO projects. So the case study focuses on one main topic here, which is restructuring the internal links. So it is about how an issue is identified, and then the issue has been like the knowledge around it has been created and transferred to the teams, and it has been executed by different teams, but at the same time in a like very well managed cooperation together with SEO, so that the output has been ensured, the quality of the output has been ensured, and how the goals have been reached or maybe overreached, we'll see. So I'll give you the theory behind it first, which is like why internal links matter, especially in this case, not in like super generic, but I'm going to give the theory. So it's gonna be a little bit high level. So there are three main pillars here. The first one is that it's about enabling the users to discover your website at ease, I guess the best possible way, and providing them like both natural and innovative functionalities so that you drive better user experience. Second pillar is having a very well designed internal link structure is one of the most efficient ways to indicate the significance of the parts of the website. So this indication could either be signals fed to search engine bots or to users, but it's about indicating what is like the hierarchy between different parts, different elements of the website. And the third pillar is about the internal link structure being the most significant way to create the architecture that allows search engine bots or crawlers to discover content. either discovering new pages or discovering new content as fast as possible. So because of these three dimensions, it is important. In fast summary, users, users, and then search engine bots is the reasons, are the reasons, sorry. So like this was the theory behind it. If you look at the practice, like what, how did we discover that we have an issue in there? Why did we even care about it? Of course, it comes mainly first from the intuition that based on the experience. Yeah. So when you look at the site, you kind of feel and realize there's something wrong with the experience as a tech-savvy user, and then also having worked in these things, and then the possibilities of the how organic growth is built up, how it is conditioned by websites' internal linking structure. So that's why it's important. So the first thing is that you gotta assume stuff, and you need to build up your hypothesis. So that helps you like find the issues, discover them, and then build up your hypothesis. But then you need to check them. So afterwards, what I did was conducting an audit to back my idea up with meaningful data, and that's where it comes like the tough technical challenge is the segmentation of the website and the need of the data. So the data is like not you cannot only provide it directly from Search Console in our case or Google Analytics in our case, because the website is quite big, like more than 60 million pages, and the information we need is not one-sided, but it's like three-sided information. So we needed to triangulate user data with server logs and crawl data, and then we needed to segment it. So we partnered up with Oncrawl to enable this analysis and make sure that we run these things multiple times. So make sure that we automate this checks once we get the entire buy-in, and also enable the other teams to work on it. Let's look at the process behind the structuring project. So the first stage was discovering the issue, yeah? keeping track of the right metrics. It's based on the experience, based on the intuition, but now this is about like telling what kind of metrics are important. A second stage is running the audit itself, but the audit is not about to create 50 pages of show of information. It is about creating an actionable plan. It is really about just audit output report could be a half a page email. It's really just about backing up your idea with the meaningful set of data and showing the insight behind why you are proposing this project. And as I mentioned, we did the segmenting of Brainy by page types using Oncrawl to analyze the server logs for these segments, and then triangulate this log information together with crawl information and the user pay organic visit information. The third is the transformation. So which is like the presenting. So after having all this data, all these thoughts, you need to create a well-groomed presentation that shows the information and tells the story behind why you want this to be implemented. So it starts with like, I will say like there's 5 important elements of it. Explanation of the issue. So what's the issue? What are you going to fix? And the reasons why you choose this issue. Like, why did you prioritize this issue? Then overview of the solution space. So you don't have to explicitly tell the solutions to your engineers. I mean, you have engineers for a reason, but you need to give them the solution space from the high level. And then maybe you can tell the expert's preferred solution. So you might give some recommendations and like, all right, solution number 2, it's good because it's easy to implement, still high impact kind of. Like maybe you can create this impact and difficulty matrix. And at the end, I think it should end with the budget and resource estimations. So So I like to show you a few screenshots from like where the project came from. As you can see here, when you look at the internal links, the main issue we had was a lot of links were going to user profile pages, and user profile pages were set to no index. And the reason was they are legacy pages. Even though they are important for users, we haven't refactored them. So they were not serving the same purpose as the question pages, which are driving the main majority of the traffic coming to the website. But as you can see, majority of the links, internal links, are going to question pages. And you can also see that the number of the internal links from this point, even more comparison, like the how much the homepage is getting in general, and how many question pages and the profile pages. So you can see like there's like a little bit of a waste in there in terms of not being able to indicate what is more important, and not being able to indicate also like telling user where they would be interested with. So like the important question is, at the end of the day, this is very SEO specific what I've been talking about. But the C-level, the higher level, will ask questions about how does it relate to revenue opportunities, yeah? And it's showing a correlation between the better rankings and the incoming links was my main go-to strategy in there. So you can create a lot of mumbo jumbo about internal links, create a book about it, write 10 pages of explanations. But if you can show it with the data, if you can show some page characteristics specific for this case, and then you might and you believe that this makes sense, and you then test it a little bit, I think your project will be financed. So in this case, I used again the power that Oncrawl provided us, which was the showing the correlation of like what is ranking more, and the other elements that might be contributed to the ranking. As you can see, there was like this the amount of the when the average amount of the number of the links are increasing, ranking positions were increasing with them too. In most of the cases, especially when we did the segmenting in here, but I can't show you that's too much of a detailed data. That you can see this correlation. Of course, it's not the only cause. It cannot be there is content. If the content is like not optimized, it's not good. Whatever you do might not be working. Will not be working in long term. So that's why it's more about convincing these people. And what numbers did we expect to move in high level clicks? Yeah, just like that, clicks from organic search. And in detail, I've identified three main success metrics that helped the people that with SEO knowledge and people that are going to technically work on this project. So there's like two main sets. I think you need to level up your semantics based on the audience you're talking to. And the first one is just about the clicks. You can say ranking, but even that becomes super SEO focused. So you can directly put the clicks and then even project it to revenues. And then in order to monitor the stages of the project, like for example, ensuring the shift of the page rank flow from profile pages to question pages, you can look at the average number of internal links, or ensuring this shift improved crawlability of the question pages. You can look at the number of new discovered question pages. So yeah, just like that, we have created these three main projects for monitoring the success of the project itself. And yeah, we got the buy-in afterwards. All right. So then what's the step to get it executed? And I'm not talking about one team dictating or enforcing how it's going to be executed. It's about collaboration. And here it's like you need to clearly demonstrate that like the issue matters, and as I mentioned, just rapport with their level when you're talking, when you're articulating your ideas. Using quantitative metrics, so important. It makes a huge difference. It makes projects logic and feasibility way more reassuring, because there's measurable conditions for success. And then always pointing out the big pictures is super important. So like, not making it extremely just SEO about, like, it's not like search engine. There's like a lot of user focus in there, and why is it helpful for a learner, like all these things. Just focus on that while you're telling your story, and then it's the knowledge share. So knowledge share is like, you can run, well, what I did was like, we run the technical workshops, and the technical workshop first started in the company, then it became outside of company. So pre-COVID, we used to be in the office, and we invited all the different people, and we had like almost 100 people coming up to technical workshops we were giving after hours, and it was all inspired after this project. So just the cover things. It's the story. Yeah, just with this image. All right, we had the website visitors. They are providing answer, and then because of the answer, more people are asking questions. That's helping our growth. So even this will tell the story a little bit. So did we see meaningful acceleration in traffic or revenue? Well, we over delivered. The results were based on monthly unique users, year-over-year growth, and we overachieved the targets within the 6 weeks period. And how can I say that? Like, there's no Occam's razor here. We can directly say, oh, just because of that. But we eliminated the seasonality, and we did the testing, like the perspective very well. But I can show it to you in SEO language. You can remember this graph before, and then on the right side, as you can see, there's almost no link going to profile pages anymore. So this is just, okay, that's what has been done. And what happens is, when you do that, you see the shift from, the in-rank depth is shifting towards the homepage side. So it's like the amount of the clicks that you need to do from the homepage to go into a question page has been reduced very much. So after all this, yeah, we changed the organization. This is one of the projects how we did it. How about this case? Like, the executives and the other teams, are they more responsive to our asks? But the thing is, we don't have to ask anymore. We lead by influence. So there is a real high level of awareness about what SEO impact we can create, and how SEO impact changes the business. So that's why there was this paradigm shift, and it's impacted the organization to also be faster to adapt into new changes in the industry, and more SEO projects are being done by. So it's been unleashed. It's like, it doesn't have to be how to say, coordinated or enforced from a one resource, one point. Sorry. I like to finalize what I've been telling with two more slides. In this slide, I like to just give you a few advice about, if you are struggling to get buy-in for your SEO projects, I'll tell you, like, define your health metrics, SEO health metrics, create SEO hygiene framework for your website, and say, okay, these are the guardrails of my SEO, and then monitor them. Then create insights, actionable and meaningful insights out of the monitoring. So it's going to be like kind of automatic. You just need to check like every morning while you're having your coffee, and then make your case extremely clear, demonstrated, after you find this actionable insight. So prioritize it, like, know why exactly you want to tackle this issue. Make sure it adds value to align with company goals. So it's not something like super SEO thing that you just want to do. And use the harmony, like make sure that your case is harmonized with the people, with the teams that you're cooperating with, and then you have to uh, adjust your semantics relevant to your audience. Yeah. Um, Finally, I just want to take one more minute to say, in this process, when you are setting and scaling up SEO organizations for fast growth and getting the buy-in, I will say there is three do's and three don'ts. So three do's are challenging your intuition with data, the first do. And not do is just going with your intuition. Second do will be aligning with company level goals. Second don't will be using generic semantics, not aligning with anything, but just talking SEO all the time. Third will be like the do will be being very specific, and the third don't will be keeping the goals only in SEO specific level. So thank you very much for having me here today for this presentation. Now I'm looking forward to your questions.